We offer to you today an editorial about an editor. And in keeping with who I have in mind, I in turn really ought to keep this short, informal, and somewhat blunt. You see, the editor is Lou Grant, who some of you may know as having been brought into this reality by the much beloved television and cinema star, an actor whose range extends all the way from Mary Tyler Moore to today's Cobra Kai, Ed Asner, who by now you no doubt know has passed away. Now, of all the enduring, imperishable, durable, and dependable profiles which this consummate performer brought to life, it was Lou Grant who resonated the most with me in a very personal, very poignant way, in a way which I would like to try to describe to you today. You see, no matter who you are, you all know a Lou Grant. All around this world, there are multitudes of Lou Grants. They are embodied in essence in both men and women alike. We all of us know a Lou Grant. Lou Grant is the guy who drags himself up out of bed in the early wee AM hours of the morning. He gulps down half-brewed coffee while he's still half asleep, and then he launches himself into the nightmare of early morning rush hour traffic, all so that he can commute to the office. And then he gets there, and he rolls up his sleeves, and he plunges into the chaos of the day. A day which is going to be replete with percolating coffee makers, gurgling water coolers, relentless telephones and typewriters, and here and there again, on occasion, perhaps a shot or two from the bottle of scotch he keeps down in the bottom drawer of his desk. At the end of the day, more often than not, he'll head out to the nearest bar with some of his colleagues. They'll have some after-hours drinks, after which he'll make his way home to a modest dinner, maybe a few more beers, maybe a couple more shots of scotch. He'll read the daily news, he'll watch the nightly news, then he'll grumble a little bit, and finally he'll drag himself off to bed so that he can get some sleep and be prepared to get up the next morning and do it all over again. Now, there can be no doubt that Lou Grant is in keeping with a grizzly bear. He does grumble. He is gruff, grumpy, grouchy. He growls. On occasion he even snarls. But his bark is invariably worse than his bite. Lou Grant is the guy whose behavior is completely predictable when he finds himself in one of those awful situations which you know all too well. You've just had a blowout argument with one of your coworkers, and now nobody's talking to anybody. The silence is mounting. The tension is building. It's just unbearable. When Lou Grant finds himself in one of those situations, eventually, when the minutes have gone by, he'll finally be the one to say, "All right, let's just forget about it. We're all under a lot of pressure here. We're all under stress. Let's just get back to work and get the job done, okay?" And even though they most likely don't say anything, his colleagues are very grateful to him for breaking the silence, breaking the tension, and breaking the stalemate, so that they can save face, but more to the point, get back to doing the work which truly does need to get done. The upshot of all of this is that Lou Grant is the living version, albeit again the grizzly bear version, of the Serenity Prayer. He is someone who practically, for all of his imperfections, has grudgingly, reluctantly, in some cases downright unwillingly, resigned himself to accepting that now and then the world just has to be the way it apparently is. And he's come to make his peace with that, so that he can lead his life the best way he can, one day at a time. In short, Lou Grant is a regular guy, just a regular guy. And as such, he is something which I can never be. For all of my imperfections, for my flaws and shortcomings, that's just not something I can ever be. But it is something that I can aspire to be like. Oh, not through emulation or imitation or even observation, but just by way of simple, gradual, eventual experience. When a Lou Grant sets an example for you to follow towards some kind of improvement, when he in essence compels you, again, flatly, frankly, bluntly, no frills, no fireworks, no fanfare, but just by way of your own decency, your own sincerity, your own humility, and your own dependability. When a Lou Grant can compel you to strive to be a better version of yourself, you kind of gotta love a guy for that.